Hey everyone, so today we're going to be drawing this adorable little dinosaur. We're going to be learning some basic concepts, how to start from a sketch to actual shapes. And so if you're excited about this, go ahead and keep watching. So now that we have all of this set up, I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the head. And now the head that I've seen is usually of an oval shape. So let's go ahead and start with the oval shape. Notice how I'm keeping my wrist stabilized and I'm just moving my elbow, moving my entire arm around. The next thing I notice about the body is we do often have a long neck. It's usually some type of tube, parallel looking tube, something like this, equidistance tube, maybe something like that. I'm going to go ahead and move my drawing up so I have room for the body. And then for the body, maybe I can tilt it a bit there. There you go. And then for the body, I'm going to draw another kind of big oval, just oval shape here. For the legs, they are going to be cylinder cone, so I'm just going to draw a cone here. I'm going to draw cylinder cone here. Maybe that's a bit too wide, so we'll clean that up in post. And then the back, we also have legs, so I'm just gonna draw that in. And then this one I'm gonna move to the front. This leg I'm gonna move a bit to the front here, and then draw that in as well. So something of that nature there. This leg looks a bit too forward, so maybe move it back a notch. Something along those lines here. All right. So I'm just gonna clean that up so it looks a bit better. Okay, so now we have a general idea of a dinosaur. I'm actually gonna scale this down a bit as well. So I can add a tail because a tail is definitely missing. So we need a tail, and the tail helps these animals balance a bit as they're walking, it seems. So I want it to attach as a curve up, not just suddenly just protruding from the top half. So some type of flow happening here. Okay. The other thing, now that I've done this part, I'm going to start working on defining the face a bit more. So now we're at the head. The head is, the front of the mouth is usually some type of a rounded rectangle. So I'm just going to round that off here. And then the side is going to be slightly bigger. So I'm just going to slightly make it big here. And then we have the mouth, and then we have the bottom lip. So I'm going to actually raise the mouth coming from the edge of the tip going up here, and then I'm going to extend this down and basically make another straight line. So although originally it was an oval shape, it's now starting to look more and more like a rectangle. From here, from the top part of the head, I'm just gonna make a straight line down like that, connecting my shapes. And you do need to define the end of the chin, but maybe this is a little bit too far, so maybe I could do the end of the chin there, but that looks too close. Cut the difference, maybe somewhere here. I'm just gonna erase this part just so see it better. Okay, so now we have the face. Now I'm gonna go in for the nostrils, so maybe nostril here, and then I'm gonna go in with the eyes. So I want big circular eyes, not crazy eyes, just big circular eyes. And maybe could have this nice pupil size just there. And for I'm just going to add some reflection in his eye like that. So this kind of gives us a good general idea of the head. Now it is a dinosaur, so maybe I'm just going to add another layer here, and I'm going to say, how does it look like if they have teeth? Yeah, doesn't look too bad. If I put a dinosaur to that here, it looks really scary, so I'm going to remove that. And it looks a bit too many sharp teeth, so maybe remove that part and just add a few. Maybe just one. So that looks kind of cute. Maybe we add a bit of a bigger one and we round it. Kind of like that. But then that looks kind of weird, so there. Now we have this dinosaur head. Now let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the body. So I'm going to stick with this look, and I'm going to have the bottom of the neck come out, not where the jaw ends, but a little bit afterwards. So something like this. Okay, this gives us a good idea of the body. Okay, going on to here, let's go ahead and smooth this out. I think that's what a lot of this part is about smoothing out our sketch. I want to make the feet a little more slender, perhaps. So I'm gonna just reshape these a bit. So here's my thing reshaped. All right, now when we look at a dinosaur, oftentimes they have. I'm gonna lower this opacity for the bottom sketch. I've added a new layer on top so I can work on the feet. So they do have nails. They do have nails. So perhaps what we want to do is we want to create this bottom part a bit more curved. So maybe slanted, almost like that. Slanted, out, up, okay. And maybe this back part is also a bit curved, but their curve ends at a different stage here. Now we can draw out the nails. So again, we want to use curves, and maybe that's the nail. That's the nail we have. We have these curved nails here. Again, this is a cartoon drawing, so we don't need to get all the specificities right. One thing I do want to add to the top of the leg is kind of a curve joining it, so it's not quite straight up. So I'm going to add another curve here. Again, remember one of the standards that I had set was I want to make sure that the dinosaur, the drawing that I'm making is curved. So we want to follow that sentiment. So we have this curve on the bottom here, and then perhaps we need to make this down. So now you see that this line and this line is a bit unadjusted. So I'm just going to take my selection tool. I'm going to select this area here, and I'm going to move it in. I'm going to move it in like this much. And I'm going to go ahead and extend my leg up again. Okay, so something along these lines here. Okay, so that's my first leg. Now, in order for simplicity, what I can do is I can select it and swipe down with 3 fingers, duplicate my work. Have our little cute little dinosaur. Now we're going to make the tail. So like I spoke about before, we have we want to keep things rounded, so keep things rounded here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise the opacity for everything, because the next step that we're going to do, I'm gonna merge all of these together. So now we have this final sketch, and now I can just do some cleanup. One of the first things I think I want to add in here are like scales going on his neck all the way down his back. So let's see how that looks. Have some type of a dinosaur with some freckles, and I think we're basically done. So now that I have all of these together, I'm going to go ahead and group it. I'm going to rename this layer to Dino Sketch, Dino 1 Sketch. There you go. Now I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to delete that original one that I had, and I think I'm going to delete these ones as well. Delete. Okay. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to flatten it, and then I'm going to drop the opacity down, and then on the layer on top, I'm going to go ahead and start inking it, and I'm going to be using the studio pen too, and I think, yeah, this is streamlined, so it'll give me nice straight colors. So I'm going to be taking black now, and if you didn't know, if you double tap on this, it goes to true black, and if you double tap on this, it goes to white. So it's a little fast trick for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I don't know if I like this one. It's too thin, maybe 5. Yeah, okay, I like it. So I'm going to start off with the foundation. And notice how as I'm ending my line, I lift my pen just a little bit. So I get some variety of thickness. Okay, so, and then lighter stroke. And I think the things that are kind of throwing me off, first of all, the eye isn't colored in yet, so let me add that in. Now it looks a bit better. And then the tail is also looking a bit off, so perhaps I need to add a bit, I need to make it more thin and then gets bigger. I think that is the key to what I'm trying to do, is that right there, because it gets thin. Before it was all the same size. All right, so we have our first dinosaur, which is really exciting. I think now I'm also going to add the distinction of where the belly is. So perhaps if you ever want to create a dinosaur, here is an example of all the steps you need to take. So first, do some research. So maybe I'm going to call it Get Inspired. go on Pinterest, go on Behance, and look at some photos of dinosaurs, and see the type of shapes it has. Then, a second step is to break down basic shapes. That's the next thing that you probably want to do, is you break down into basic shapes, and then add structure, kind of like we did with the nose and with the feet, slowly, and then add detail. So this will give you a really good idea of how to create a dinosaur.